Theft is a coming of age story about three very different young people living in Tanzania. Set in Zanzibar and Dar es Salaam in the 1990s, in a little over 250 compact pages, the story follows Kareem, Fauzia, and Badr from teenage to adulthood. It's a deceptively simple novel that brings together themes of love, family relationships, and betrayal. This book was one of the most anticipated novels from its author Abdulrazak Gurnah. He is the recipient of the 2021 Nobel Prize for Literature. When he received the call about the Nobel, he was about a quarter into the writing of this book. It was finally published in March this year, 2025. Does it live up to post Nobel expectations? Let's find out. Time to switch on the reading lamp. Hello, I'm Asaviri, and on this channel, The Reading Lamp, I review books and talk about reading in general. Let's take a look at the details of today's book.
Facts and Figures.
Theft is a fiction novel written by Tanzanian British author Abdulrazak Gurnah. It was published 3 months ago in March 2025 by Bloomsbury Publishing. The book is a short read, 256 pages long, available in paperback, hardcover, Kindle, and audiobook editions. The link to buy the book is in the first pinned comment and in the description below the video. Now, no spoilers, no worry, just
The cover story.
it is the 1990s. Growing up in Zanzibar, three very different young people, Kareem, Fauzia, and Badr, are coming of age. Each one of them has a dream of great possibilities in their young nation. Kareem and Fauzia come from families of some means, but Badr is an uneducated servant boy who has never known his parents. It seems as if all doors are closed to him. When he is brought into a lowly position in a great house in Dar es Salaam, Badr finds the first true home of his life and the friendship of Kareem, the young man of the house. Even when a shattering false accusation has Badr sent away, Kareem and Fauzia refuse to turn away from their friend. But as the three of them take their first steps in love, infatuation, work, parenthood, their bond is tested, and Kareem is tempted into a betrayal that will change all of their lives forever. I did not pick up this novel because the author is a Nobel laureate. I read the first few pages of the sample and I had to keep reading. Here is what makes this book so engaging.
Speaking my mind.
I honestly don't think I can clinically dissect the appeal of this novel because its appeal is on an emotional level. I'll tell you how my reading experience went, and that will tell you more about the novel than any analysis. I began reading the sample, which has the first 8 or 9 pages of the novel. The story begins with Raya, Kareem's mother, as a young girl. It tells us how she is married off in a hurry because her father sees that one of the local hooligans is beginning to take an interest in her. I was pulled in by the story from the first paragraph itself. By the time the sample came to an end, I knew I had to read the whole book. There are three qualities of Gurnah's writing that make it compelling. 1. The small and the big picture. There are things happening in the lives of the protagonists, and there are events happening in the world at large at the same time. Gurnah does not write directly about a world event. He will mention it in passing, like someone will be listening to a news item on radio about a war. In 2-3 sentences, he puts the environment, the time frame into context. He deals with universal themes like the sense of entitlement that exists in the Western world, as well as in the privileged class, and power and exploitation, and so on. There is a bigger picture in the background, but the focus is on the smaller point in the foreground. It's like a snapshot of one person's life at a time with a bouquet of world events and themes in the background. That is why I said in the beginning that this is a deceptively simple novel. It talks about bigger issues, but on a smaller, much more relatable scale. 2. Clear, precise language. There is nothing flowery or pretentious in his writing. He writes to express, not impress. He literally writes in spoken language. I did not have to refer to a dictionary even once, except to look up a few words in Swahili on the net that I hadn't come across before. I don't know how his other works compare with this novel. If you look at his body of work, his first novel, Memory of Departure, was published in 1987. Theft is his 11th novel. He seems to write one novel every 3 or 4 years. This is my first book written by Abdulrazak Gurnah. I have no clue what his writing process is, whether he weighs each and every word carefully before he commits to it or rewrites his drafts tens of times. But in the final reading, not a single word seems out of place. And he manages to convey much more than what is actually written on a page. That is also why this is such a compact novel. 3. Emotional connect. You find yourself rooting for different characters at different times. The author manages to make you feel for almost all of the characters. There are very few black or white characters. Most of them are in shades of grey. All of them are completely human and relatable. And in spite of being a realistic piece of writing, it's not depressing. Even if the story goes in directions that you did not expect or do not like, ultimately you come away with a satisfied feeling that things are the way they ought to be. Another point that occurred to me was that I don't know if this happens to you also, but I find that on an emotional level, I connect more with authors from colonial countries than others. I was born in an independent India, so I don't have any personal claim on oppression. But there is a sense of shared history with such authors that makes their writing more appealing to me on a visceral level. That's just how it is. This book tells the story of ordinary people with ordinary lives. What makes it extraordinary is the writing. Let's see how it fares on our LINEDSCAPE book rating system.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
Up there is a link to the video that explains my LINEDSCAPE book rating system. All the parameters today are rated 9 or 10, with only aesthetics and novelty rated 8. Overall, score is 92 over 100, which makes it a 5-star book. Now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell,
Theft by Abdulrazak Gurnah is his first novel to be published after he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2021. It's a tightly written coming of age drama set in Tanzania in the 1990s. What sets it apart is the exceptional quality of writing and the emotional connect it creates between the characters and the readers. I highly recommend reading this novel that rates 5 stars on my LINEDSCAPE book rating system. If you like this episode, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon and share with your friends and family. Do visit the Reading Lamp every Friday for a fresh new book review. This is Asavri signing off for now. Have fun under the Reading Lamp. Switch on, read on.